And he said, Pastor Terry? And I said, yeah. Like, well, yeah, I'm coming out of the church, and maybe he read the sign, and I said, yeah. He said, you did my father's funeral about 8 months ago. We don't have a church home. And he said, I remember one thing you said there, and I'm going to talk to you about it. It's about this title of Jesus. But some call him the Son of God. And I said in my mind, I don't have time to talk to him. And yet I'm so excited in the first place that somebody who did not have a church home wanted to talk about Jesus. Wanted to be lifted up. But what could I do? Plus, I like to talk anyway. So for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, we sat there and talked. And I may not quite agree about this, I may not agree about that, but we talked for 25 minutes who this Jesus is. And we agreed on 95% of our conversation. And he said, thank you. You have a good day. I don't remember his name. He walked away. People are hungry. Vicki is right. People are hungry. This is a time, an opportune time. Easter. What's that all about? What do you mean someone died on the cross? What do you mean by that? Oh, and when Easter gets here, we get all confused. What do you mean that someone could rise from the dead? What does that mean? So we Christians certainly have an opportunity to talk to those people who are under stress by the economy and jobs and home and all the other things that come upon us human creatures. And the answer is, I believe, a relationship with God. I hope you agree with me. It helps me, anyway, deal with life. I mentioned to a young person about what does our sinning have anything to do with our relationship with God? The first response was, I don't know. I don't think anything. Lexi, if you came to my office and stole my favorite ink pen, but I didn't know it, you just took it, and I'm missing my ink pen. I don't know who took it. What kind of relationship are you and I going to have? Every time she sees me, she's going to feel guilty. She's going to feel upset. We no longer will be buddies and friends. But if we can come and say, Pastor, I stole your ink here. And we'll say, okay, don't do that again. And we become friends and develop a relationship. We don't know where that will head. We develop a relationship. It's the same with God. We try to live our own way, the things we've done or said, or maybe done to us, I don't know. It keeps us from this relationship with God. So God said, I'm going to send my son. That's why he's coming. So you know that I love you. And you are to model that for the rest of the world. But sometimes people have trouble with God because they have trouble with you. Because of what you've done or what you've said that kept them. We need to lift high Christ. And when you lift me up, Christ says, all the world will see and come to know God's love, the sacrifice that we may give to one another, that we may know that you are loved. What greater gift can anyone give to another but love and gift of self? One of our parishioners was at a bank recently, last day or two, and a lady, a little old lady, probably 55, I don't know, she's older than that. By the way, it's interesting, ever how old you are, a little old lady, it's a different, I was talking to my mother, I said, a little old lady, she goes, it better be older than 84. A lady fell. She hurt herself, smashed her finger. Our parishioner picked her up. Are you all right? And she said, I'll take you to the doctor. She goes, no, I need to get home. My husband's ill, he's dying of cancer, and hospice supposed to go. I got to go home, I can't take care of this. So she was worried. So she followed the lady home. Make sure make sure she was all right, and all of that. And she goes, don't even know her name, and the lady don't even know my name. She gave her herself. She died to self of whatever her time frame was. One last thing about this. I heard on the TV the other day, and I hope no one's here is offended. Well, maybe some of you. He said, what if we made $500 million this year? What if we gave $250 million of it away? Would our lifestyle hurt us? Would we really be hurt? He said, I don't need to be taken away from us. by government or by laws. But what if we who have some means gave money into some kind of a fund to lift up the world, the causes of God and Christ, to make the world a better place, whatever that is, with school and feeding and education, whatever those issues are, wouldn't that be a great model for those who have a lot? Wouldn't that say a lot to the world? And the answer is yes. That would be true of us no matter how much money we make. There's always a little that we can give away. There's always a little time that we can give away. There's always some people that we can meet. Always. As we lift up Christ. A voice from heaven said, He's my Son. I glorify Him now. I will glorify Him again. You notice that every step of the way in the big moments of Jesus' life, the voice of God spoke to Jesus, encouraging him. You're on the right track. Do this. I'm with you. These are words of encouragement. And Jesus always heard those words. And the voice said it. And what did people around say? It must be thunder. Because we're not expecting God to speak to us, you see. Or if it was anything, it probably was an angel just speaking to Jesus. Jesus said, no, the voice wasn't for me. The voice was for you. To glorify and lift up God, to lift up Jesus. I hope you hear God's voice. God's voice didn't stop in biblical times. I don't believe it. I think God still speaks to us if we're quiet and we respond. God speaks. Has God spoken to you? A name that comes up in your mind? Don't know why a name came up. A name comes up in your mind. What do we do about that? God may want you to call, to speak, to visit. If you respond, you will be amazed. But oftentimes I've found in my own life, I'll call and that person says, how did you know that I needed to talk to someone? It used to blow me away. It used to scare me to death, really. And then the more you do it, the more at ease you are. And now I'm anticipating. What do you want me to do now, Lord? And if I can just shut up long enough, the Lord will whisper. See, the voice wasn't for Jesus. The voice was for them. Lift up Christ. Model this of giving self, of dying to self. Because if we don't die to self, then we really wound up losing ourselves. We gain nothing. We learn nothing. We may have years behind our name, but we don't have life. We don't have the abundance of life and the meaning and the purpose of life just because we have a lot of numbers behind our name. It's the living, it's giving of self, dying of self that really brings life. It is the church giving of itself, sacrificial. We don't like to hear that in our culture. Sacrificial. But the church has always grown. Because people want to hear and see that people love me for me. I said to a young person, what if I gave you $100 right now? Cool. Well, what do you think? What do you expect for this $100? What did I do right or wrong to get this $100? Now what if I said it's just free? Give it free. No strings attached. Cool. That's what God offers, is it not? Free. And all you do is just love. No strings attached. Just lift up Christ. For Christ died for us. He died to self for us. And what can we do but nothing but the same in our own lifetime? Die to self. Change is afoot. Evil must be spoken to. And Jesus said, this is why I have come. Let the prince of darkness have notice.